In the heart of the mountains lies a forgotten valley known only as Hollow Creek. Once a bustling mining town, it vanished overnight in 1923, swallowed by the forest and erased from all maps. No official records remained. Lead faded. Photographs, tattered diaries, and whispered legends passed down by locals who dare not speak its name aloud. For decades, Hollow Creek was considered a ghost story until the summer of 2025, when a group of urban explorers discovered an overgrown path deep in the woods. Their GPS devices failed, compasses spun wildly, and eerie whispers followed them, carried on the wind like lost voices. Among the group was Claire Miller, a determined historian haunted by the mysterious disappearance of her great-grandfather, who vanished from Hollow Creek in 1923 without a trace. As the sun dipped below the jagged peaks, the explorers stumbled upon crumbling foundations, swallowed by moss and vines. An ancient stone well stood in the center, its mouth open like a screaming maw. Suddenly, the air grew cold, the forest fell silent, and a voice, soft, urgent, and impossible to place, whispered from the shadows, "Don't look down." Claire's heart pounded. She peered into the well's depths, and for a fleeting moment, saw a pair of glowing eyes staring back. The ground beneath them trembled, and then, the earth opened. The earth cracked open like a wounded beast, swallowing the explorers. Flashlights and screams into the abyss below. Claire barely held on to a gnarled root, her fingers numb and slick with dirt. She peered into the black void where the others vanished, only to see the faintest flicker of movement, like a pair of glowing coals shifting deep in the darkness. Her breath caught. A guttural growl rose from the depths, a sound that wasn't quite animal nor human, echoing against the unseen walls. Then the whispers began again, but this time they were clearer. "Return what was taken. Break the silence. The Hollow remembers." Claire scrambled back from the edge, as the forest around her seemed to breathe and pulse with life. The trees bent toward her, their branches curling like skeletal fingers. Shadows twisted at the corners of her vision, moving just beyond reach. Her heart thundered with the cold realization. Hollow Creek was not just a vanished town, it was a wound in the earth, a place where the past bled into the present, a place where something ancient and hungry waited behind her. The other explorers' voices had fallen silent, and then, just before the night swallowed the last light, Claire heard a soft, desperate sobbing, coming not from above, but from the well itself. Claire knelt by the well's edge, her hands trembling as she reached into the darkness to trace the source of the sobbing. The sound was haunting, childlike but broken, fragile as a whisper carried on cold wind. Suddenly, icy fingers grazed her wrist. She yelped, pulling back, heart pounding wildly. The sobbing stopped. A voice, barely louder than the rustling leaves, whispered in her ear, "Help us." She turned to see no one. The forest seemed to lean closer, watching, waiting. Driven by a mixture of terror and determination, Claire searched the overgrown ruins, uncovering half-buried toys, broken dolls with faces worn smooth by time, and faded photographs depicting children with eyes so dark they seemed to swallow light. Each photo was scratched out, except one, a girl with a cracked smile, holding a doll that looked uncannily like Claire herself. The sobbing returned now, surrounding her from all directions. From the shadows between the trees emerged pale, translucent figures of children. Their eyes were hollow black pits, mouths frozen in silent screams, limbs twitching unnaturally as they drifted forward. They circled Claire, their whispers rising into a chilling chorus. "Return what was taken. Break the silence. The Hollow remembers." Claire's mind reeled as the ground beneath the ruins vibrated. The earth was calling, and it wanted blood. The air thickened, turning cold enough to burn. The children's voices morphed into a relentless chant that pulsed like a heartbeat. Beneath Claire's skin, "Return what was taken. Return what was taken." The ground cracked open wider, revealing a slick cavern wall, glistening with ancient symbols etched in dried blood. At the center lay a rusted iron box, chained and locked tight. Its surface was cold and pulsating, as if alive. Claire's fingers trembled as she brushed away the dirt and rust. The lock gave way under her touch, sliding open with a wet, echoing creak. Inside, wrapped in rotting cloth, was a small bundle of brittle bones, children's bones, and a tarnished silver locket engraved with a name, Emmeline. Suddenly, the spectral children wailed, their anguished cries shattering the silence. The cavern walls bled dark liquid, flooding the floor, rising rapidly like a tide of forgotten sorrow. Claire clutched the locket, feeling a fierce surge of pain and memories, not her own, flooding her mind, visions of betrayal, despair, and a terrible sacrifice made long ago. The hollow demanded a price, the blood debt. A voice thundered from the depths. One life for the many, one soul to silence the hunger. Claire understood. To save Hollow Creek's lost children, she would have to pay the ultimate price. The ground trembled violently. Roots burst from the earth, curling around her ankles, pulling her down toward the darkness. Her last thought was the locket's cold weight against her chest and Emmeline's pleading eyes. The roots tightened like iron bands, cold and merciless, dragging Claire slowly toward the yawning mouth of the earth. Panic clawed at her throat, but the locket burned against her chest. Its icy heat a tether to the souls trapped in the hollow. As she descended, the world above dimmed until it was nothing but a faint, distant memory. The air grew thick with the scent of decay and old sorrow. Whispered voices echoed from the cavern walls, each a fractured plea, each a shattered fragment of lives long lost. A shadow moved ahead, a girl, pale as moonlight, her eyes deep wells of endless night. "Emmeline, why do you come?" Emmeline's voice was both a whisper and a command. "To free you," Claire whispered, voice trembling. Emmeline smiled, but it was a smile that tasted of grief and warning. "Freedom demands a price," she said, stepping aside. The cavern opened into a vast chamber. Walls slick with ancient blood and carved with runes, pulsing faintly red. In the center stood an altar, gnarled and stained. A single, rusted knife rested upon it. "Place your hand on the blade," Emmeline instructed. "Offer yourself to the hollow, and we shall be free." Claire's breath caught. The echoes of the lost children swelled into a deafening roar, urging her forward. With trembling hands, she grasped the knife's hilt. As cold fire coursed through her veins, she felt the hollow's hunger awaken within her. The last thing she saw was Emmeline's eyes reflecting her own face, twisted in both terror and acceptance as the blade descended. The cold bite of the blade pierced Claire's palm, searing pain exploding through her veins like wildfire. Her vision blurred, the chamber around her dissolving into shadows and whispers. The blood pooled onto the altar, sizzling as if the earth itself drank it greedily. A sudden silence fell thick and suffocating. The cries of the children ceased, replaced by a haunting calm that pressed against her mind like a heavy shroud. Claire felt her body growing light, as if she were unraveling from the inside out. Her heartbeat slowed until it was no more than a faint echo from the depths of the hollow. Something ancient stirred, a presence that had waited centuries for this offering. Emmeline reached out, her black eyes shimmering with sorrow. "You have given us peace." And then Claire was pulled into the earth, swallowed whole by darkness so complete it was like falling into the void before time. Outside, the forest breathed again. The overgrown path to Hollow Creek faded into the earth, and in the silence, the whispers ceased, except for one faint voice, carried on the wind. "The debt is paid, for now. Is paid, for now."